Hello there, and welcome to a new episode of Femme Flex Friday. I'm here with my amazing co-hosts. We have Camile Perriott, Whitney Jones, Lenda Murray, and myself, Wendy Fortino. And we're here with a new episode of Femme Flex Friday. Today, ladies, we're going to take a trip down memory lane at some of the most memorable rivalries in recent bodybuilding history. And then we are going to take a look at all the female divisions heading into the 2023 Olympia.
Ooh, party.
We're gonna break it down. We're gonna try to put together what we think are some of the hottest brewing rivalries. Hottest brewing rivalries in the female side of things heading into the 2023 Olympia. So who's your pick? Do you have any favorites? Well, stick around to see if we have any favorites and why. But before we get started, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tell all your friends about this. And let's get started. What do you say, ladies?
Let's do it.
Great.
Juicy. Heck yeah.
All right, it's gonna get juicy. Now, before we get started, I want to start off with a video that I love. It's a rivalry between Heath and Kai Green. And let's go ahead and watch this, and then I'm gonna get your guys' take on it.
I'm dedicating this Olympia win to my late father, Don Heath, who passed away in March. I will always represent my last name the best way I can for you and to look on my legacy as a great person. But I told my father before he passed that, I'm going to bring one home for him, and that's what I intend to do.
I respect your father. I respect anyone that has had a father. I didn't have one.
You've talked about the past your whole entire career, making excuses. You think you're the only person that has ever gone through something in your life.
Excuses?
Everybody knows
making
your
excuses?
Story. Yes.
Making excuses?
Yes.
You know nothing of what you're talking about.
And you know nothing of what you're talking about me.
You know nothing of what you're talking about.
You know nothing about me, Kai, and that's your problem.
It's not about not respecting a champion. Listen, man, 2013 was 2013. You were the champion of 2013, not 2014. Talk is cheap.
We're gonna get it on. We're gonna get it on. It's gonna be a beautiful thing because the fans want it.
Give me 3 facts as to why your physique will beat Phil Heath's.
Fact 1, we'll outweigh him by 40 pounds. Fact 2, we'll be wider. Fact 3, it's all over from the rear.
No, give me 3 facts as to why Kai can't beat you on stage.
2011, 2012, and 2013.
That was pretty.
Yeah, no point.
Epic response ever.
That was actually an exciting time.
Yeah,
that
was,
whole battle.
It was.
Yeah. We're not going to be talking about the men's divisions this time, maybe in the future, but when it comes to rivalries, Lenda, what do you think goes into the creation of a rivalry beyond just, the top 2 people competing against each other?
Well, for sure today with social media and others being involved and just smack and that type of talk.
Talk smack.
Yeah, talking smack. Because stuff really does happen like behind the scenes that makes it real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I remember being on stage, and this is before like social media.
Yeah.
And there was this thing. I kind of had the same comment that he had. Well, I'd won several times, and then I had Iris Kyle there, and she was like vying to try to take that title. And she would be on stage, and she would point at my calves. I kind of saw her doing something.
Oh, you're kidding.
Because I was known for not having great calves, and she had these great calves. Now, I didn't really see. I just know she had that kind of energy. But my girlfriends, the family told me they didn't like it, so they kind of instigated it. And then when I looked and watched and I saw that she was like mocking me and pointing at my calves, that really, that started something like kind of that took place.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's like when people can be, really great people and great friends outside of this, but it does something to to a person.
Yeah.
When they
It does.
get
Yeah.
competitive, they almost change who they are. Because I mean, you're such an amazing person. Like nobody who meets you would not love you to death, you know. And maybe the same is true. But I actually don't know Iris Carroll.
Right,
I'm sure
right.
she's a lovely person.
Yes.
But it's so interesting because you two were the best in the world, and I mean, all eyes were on you. And I mean, that must have been. I mean, the pressure really mounts.
Yeah, I had
you know?
to really get with that program and understand, because I think when I first came to the stage, you come with this who you are,
Right.
you know, and I was a competitor. But then when you win the title, like you want, like I kind of was like naive, thinking like I want everybody to be my friend. Everybody loved me, and then I had to learn.
That would be my biggest
that it was
fear.
important
That you kinda have a
that
target
it's
on your
just-
back.
It's not going to happen. I don't care how nice you are.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
my
not
biggest
gonna
fear.
happen.
They don't cheer for you as much at the
That's
top
absolutely.
when you're fighting for the top, but they want the rivalry. Everyone likes to, it's boring if you have the same champ year after year after year as, oh, it's to be expected. So without the rivalries, whether it's fake or real,
Yeah.
I mean, you never know, but it does help kind of build the popularity, build the excitement for that battle.
Well, you're in the midst of one of the most epic battles in the current day with, you know, between you and Missy. You guys are both the top 2 fitness competitors in the world, but we have a couple women clipping at your feet. And I mean, you handle that with such grace. I mean, the people are watching you. Not everybody can handle that, you know? I mean, most people can't. And to be able to handle that and be able to be so professional and polished, even when you come on set here or outside of here, I don't know what that feels like. You know what I mean?
I mean, well, thank you, first of all. But yeah, you just have to honestly be true to who you are.
Yep.
And it's just a matter of not letting the hype, the words, whether they're from strangers or from your tight circle, you can't let it phase you, change who you are. You just have to be true to your core values. And I love a fierce competition. I don't want anything easy.
Yeah.
So, you know, it always makes that victory sweeter when you have to push and you got to level up and you've got to bring your best, because you know it can be anyone's day that day, and you just can't be off.
So when you with your past rivalry with Iris, when you would like see each other backstage or before a show or maybe Arnold's or Olympia, like how do you guys interact?
I think honestly it depends on who that other person is. Like Oksana and I were first and second forever, but we are so super close.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would be there helping her warm up her back handsprings and spotting her, and she's asking me, you know, again, I had injuries all the time, and I wouldn't talk about it before the show.
Yeah.
She would sometimes know. So, I mean, it was us backstage, like, gosh, don't fall on this skill, and, you know, being just really good friends. Rael and I, super tight as we were battling.
That was noticeable on stage, too.
Yes, you know, and it's like your friends. Missy and I aren't as tight just because we don't know each other as much, and she has a different protocol. I'm kind of backstage while doing my thing, and she's very
in her zone.
quiet in her zone, so we don't have as much interaction. Not to
But
say it's
an
good or bad.
example with you, Whitney, you had a situation where on Femme Flex Friday, scheduled, I think it was Alina and myself, scheduled to interview Missy.
Oh, yes,
And I was not there, and then I think Alina,
Yes,
she was
her
stuck,
flight,
her flight, and she had to do the interview.
Yeah.
And
you
jumped
did.
right in.
Yeah, totally.
And
That
she
was-
did. Jumped in.
And this
Yeah,
was probably
awesome.
at the height of
of the rival.
it was the height.
Totally.
So
right.
I think that's an example
everybody can do that.
also for like when you hold that title and you're the current title holder, or you've held the title, lost the title. So there's a lot that goes into being the Miss Olympia. So when you see someone and they come on and then they win that title, and they don't really understand that responsibility and everything's going to not be so perfect, you know, that they have to step up to the plate and like handle business like you did in that
Stay
situation.
true to who you are. Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
again.
Here's the goal for both of us. The goal is, after this episode is over, you will be filled with so much motivation, so much fire within, and that is that is our number one goal.
I'd love
It's gonna
that.
Get you
Who doesn't
so
want that?
pumped
Bring
up.
it, bring
It's gonna get me so pumped up. We're gonna get you so pumped up, but don't go anywhere. We're gonna take a quick break, come back, and pump you up.
Yeah.
welcome back. We are here. We're going to talk about rivalries, and we are going to start with none other than the bikini division. Heading into the 2023 Olympia, there are some strong, heavy hitters, and I think that the bikini division is honestly probably the most exciting that has ever been in history.
Yeah.
We have actually a lineup here. These are the top contenders based off of the results from the last couple of years. Very, very strong competitors. I actually have Daraj in here because she did take 4th, and Laura Lee, although she took 5th in the Olympia last year, she did win the Arnold twice in 22, and she just recently won it in 23. So this is all of the top 5 ladies in the front and the top 5 ladies in the back. What do you guys think? Who do you guys think are going to be toe-to-toe? Camile, let's start with you.
It's so hard. You know what? I get asked this all the time, and the bikini division is so, you cannot predict it.
No.
Because I think it's unlike any other division where, I mean, it's very common for a bikini champion to get dethroned like that.
Yeah.
And it's so close. I mean, any of these ladies, and there's actually a couple others that are not here that I think will be that could be in the top 5. But it's really tough. I mean,
I think that it's like with Jennifer Dory, she's coming in, I would say, in an advantage in that she's lost the Olympia. So she's over
she's
that.
hungry for it.
Yep.
Yeah. And Maureen, she has to, now we get to see how she's handled the year and the comments and all that other stuff. Because any little small thing, you can have a program and follow it to the T as to what you followed last year. But emotions and your energy and your mental state, it's different.
Yeah.
And I think that does affect the body.
Yeah.
Can affect the body and the way it looks. So, and Ashley, she's been here. She's like so super experienced. She has nothing to lose. Daraja,
I think my top 3 easy. It's gonna. I predict it'll come down to Jen, Maureen, and Laura Lee. I think Laura Lee was off, obviously, last year at Olympia.
I think she learned her lesson.
Yeah. She made corrections, came in to the Arnold and nailed it. And I think they have the 3 most similar physiques to compare. And
well,
so
let's make this
it's
a little easier. So Maureen, let's go ahead and put Maureen right next to 2 of the girls that we think are going to be, her biggest rivalries. So Maureen won it last year. So let's go ahead and start with Maureen next to Jen Dory. Okay, let's talk about their strengths, and I mean they have no weaknesses, but against each other, what are one's shortcomings, one's greater, attributes. Starting with the front, okay. I think that Maureen really came in with a look that the judges were looking for and a direction that they wanted to go with the bikini division. She has a lot of muscle, but it's a lot softer looking, and that seemed to be really what they liked. Something I really like about Maureen is the way that she poses. She opens her chest really, really big, and it creates a really good contrast between her shoulders and her waist. Some of the girls, they're a little bit more minimal, and I think that the crazier, I always call this the 3 points, between the shoulder, the hip, and the glute. If those 3 points are more dramatic, I feel like the shape just really opens up a lot more, And if Jen Dory, for example, if she were to open her chest more and pop the glute a little bit more, I think her shape would actually open up a little bit more. What do you guys think?
I think, honestly, the only thing, because seeing it in person, Maureen's routine, her posing routine is just
she just has a certain presence.
Flawless.
She does.
I think, though, with her ribs, she's very ribby, and I know sometimes it can throw it off, so she could tuck the rib cage down slightly, when you pose and you pull it down. But it's like when you're trying to suck in and draw up, you can get too ribby. If she could have tucked that down, I actually thought that was going to hurt her more than it did.
Yes.
But it'll be interesting to see how this year's Olympia, if that front pose changes.
I think what really came down to the decision was the back shot. It was the fullness of the glutes, and they, if you look here, they're really trying to get away from that separation in the hamstrings.
Yes,
And
yes.
even though Jen, I mean, I love that look personally.
Yeah.
But they're really trying to get away from that. And Jen has a little bit more
pop, like
she's
right
a little
in
bit
here.
leaner in that area. Whereas Maureen, you could still see the tie-in.
Right.
Slight separation where the glutes and the hamstrings meet,
Yeah.
but and her glutes are extremely full.
Right. Yeah.
Extremely full.
Yeah.
Let's see Maureen and our next contender. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Now, Laura Lee. I actually got a photos from Laura Lee when she won the New York Pro. She was a little bit off at the Olympia. She was a little bit too depleted. And so we want to see Laura Lee at her best because I really do believe she's going to come in with her best package. So between Laura Lee and Maureen, Camille, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think Laura Lee has also put on more size in her quads since the New York Pro.
Yeah.
So she has actually changed her physique. If you're comparing these two pictures, it's kind of tough because Maureen has a little bit more shape in her legs.
Yeah.
I think. But that is a tough one. One person I'm going to say that is not up here that this year had won a lot of really big shows was Amy Delgado.
I know.
So there's some girls that could be shaking up that top three, but I think for Maureen and Laura Lee, it's they both have like incredible physiques. It's just completely different shapes. And it really comes down to preference. Laura Lee has a really long torso, and she's had to really learn how to balance out other portions of her body to make it all kind of fit together. You know, whereas Maureen is like she's not even, I don't even think she's 5 foot. So she has, and she has her own battle. So you have a super tall girl and then you have a very short girl and they both have really mastered their physique in their height.
That's awesome, Camille. Let's see. That was really good. That was really
great.
Good. That was awesome.
Yeah, you're on.
Are you a judge?
Yeah.
Oh.
Now you might be a judge. So let's go ahead and see Ashley. So Maureen and Ashley. Dun, dun, dun. These are rivalries we know well. Don't get me wrong. There are some shakeups that can definitely happen.
Yeah.
So these are the ones that we're expecting, but we don't know ever until the day comes, right?
Yeah.
We have Ashley here next to Maureen. Now Ashley took third in the Olympia. I thought she came in with a really, really good look. I've always loved Ashley's shape.
Ashley has a killer, Ashley from the front, especially when she corrected her posing over the past year and a half. It is amazing. I think what is holding Ashley back from reclaiming that title is she is queen of consistency.
Yeah.
She competes year round.
She competes
year round, and it's remarkable. Like I'm in awe by it. Like she has an incredible physique,
and I think she holds the record.
She does.
Right now,
out of
for the
every
most
division.
competition.
You agree with me, but I would like to see Ashley with a little more volume in her quads and her hamstrings. I think that might actually help her, but she knows what she's doing. I just think that if there was just a little bit more fullness.
Well, and that's kind of what I was getting to. I think if she really took a time off and she could, because when you look at her compared to Maureen, like her glutes are not nearly as full,
right?
Definitely smaller.
and I mean, she looks remarkable, but I think that is holding her back.
Now she has won 3 times, so she could take a whole year off and still go to the Olympic because she's automatically qualified for life. So she could do that.
But she loves competing. And she loves to
She's not taking a year off.
She's not doing it.
Riding the wave.
All right. Thank you so much, ladies. Let's go ahead and move on to the next division. This is Lenda Murray's ultimate division.
Yeah.
We're going to be getting all the
here we
feedback
go.
from Lenda. This is her bread and butter right here.
Yes.
So here we are. Go ahead, Lenda, break it down. These are the 3 that we think are going to be battling it out for Miss Olympia.
Yes. Well, I can definitely tell you that, I mean, without question, like Andrea, overall, she's got the size. She's great condition, beautiful face, awesome package from head to toe.
Oh, yeah.
And the challenge is, and this I knew would happen with Angela Yo. Angela Yo, her conditioning is on point. She's very consistent. She will definitely bring that every single time. And that's where, as an athlete, as a Ms. Olympia, and this is where we get caught sometimes because, You're busy being Miss Olympia, traveling the world.
Yeah.
And by now she's
Appearances.
won 3 Olympias, Andrea. So Andrea, she's used to it now, but it still will catch you.
Yeah.
You know, you can still have that plan, do the same things you did the years before. Well, the rest of them, they're working and all they're doing is trying to take that title.
Yeah, they don't have the obligation.
Yes.
Hella Trevino, she was the Rising Phoenix champion before.
Yes.
And a lot of
several times.
There have been talk about her challenging Andrea Shaw. The three of them are kind of the hottest mix right now.
I love Hella, but I do not see her challenging Andrea Shaw. Andrea would have to be really off as far as her conditioning. You know, Hella's been around, and Hella's decided to not compete in the Masters Olympia. I think that was, I would have done it. Like, I feel like that's her opportunity to have the Olympia, to get that Olympia title. She had an injury. She's a little bit smaller here and not as large, so her structure is looking better. And you guys have to remember, here's the thing. I competed on the same stage. Helen and I competed. Now, I've been retired. I retired in 2000. My last Olympia was 2004. But her and I, this is how long she's been going. Been around.
That's impressive.
Can I ask you a question about their posing? Okay, so when it comes to the front double bicep, I can't help but think that if they were to twist their hips, like I see she's twisting her hips out. But if she were to twist them more
like
out,
back, like
if she were to like pull her
Are you
hips
allowed to do that?
around, could she do that?
Yeah, she could. She
and
could
then same
definitely
thing with
do it.
Angela Yo, she's tilting to the side, her waist looks tiny. But if she were to pull her hips into the shadow more, it would, and even Andrea, you know, Shaw would also.
Her tiny.
I always think that. I always think, gosh, if they just twisted their hips a little bit more into the shadow, it would just really.
And you know, looking at these photos too, Andrea's not the biggest.
Right.
No, she's not the biggest. She's not the leanest.
Yeah.
It's not the shred. It's not this grainy, shreddy look. It's
That's right.
Full, beautiful muscle belly. And I don't think, when people hear the word full, they think it means like softer.
Yeah.
But full means that the muscle is full of glycogen. There's no veins and graininess to it. It just looks pretty and just bubbly. Right?
Well, and that's one thing this year is all the judges, that's what they've been talking about was her conditioning, how she wasn't the most conditioned. Sandy, Tarek, they've all talked about her conditioning. And when you really look at the pictures, like, look at her from the backside. Like her, she like, you can still see all the separation.
You can see the separation.
But the muscles have a nice full bubble, like
that's right.
Not
smoothness
overly
to them.
conditioned.
Yeah. Well, not grainy.
Let's, thank you so much, ladies. Let's go ahead and head right into the physique division. This is also a hot.
The fuzzy division, you said?
It's fuzzy. It's fuzzy for a lot of reasons. No, we're gonna pull in the outside contenders from the Olympia, but we're gonna start with this battle between Natalia and Sarah Villegas.
A rivalry here for sure, right?
Yeah.
This is probably, aside from the Whitney Jones and Missy rivalry, this may be the hottest rivalry. And you know, they both ladies, they come in with a ton of strengths. I don't even think either of them have weaknesses, but against each other, they expose things of the other, right?
Yes.
I'm just gonna dive right in and just give my
dive
take
in.
really fast.
I almost think they're leaner than the bodybuilders, these two.
Oh, the women's physique?
Yeah, it's insane.
They bring it. They bring it every time.
The one exception I would have to say to my theory about twisting the hips is Natalia. And the reason why is because she has this insane shape with her abs. They like curve in, and I've never seen this before. This is like a structural thing that is unique to her, where her abs literally just curve in like this. And so it benefits her to face straight on, because it shows this structural thing that she has going for her that I've never seen anyone else have. She did add some size to her legs. Now, she just won, the Pittsburgh Pro, and she looked even better than this. We don't have updated photos, but she gained more size on her legs. She somehow gained more size in her lats and her arms. Now, Sarah Villegas, now this is something, I don't know, this is maybe help her in the next one, but I'm thinking, if those triangles were a little bit bigger.
I was thinking the same thing.
It seems like it throws it off slightly.
It looks like a kid's bathing suit top.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy how that can make a difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, larger triangles. I think it would.
Yeah.
That's all. Actually, that's all I was looking at.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree with
Because you want it to be very similar. You've got to have it
She's
be.
talking about the suit and the
Yes.
difference. It's like,
The
it's
physique
like
needs
small.
to stand apart, but the suit shouldn't be a
Well,
distraction.
if you look at
Huge.
the sides of the top, if they are more narrow than the sides of the bottom, even if you have wide lats, it makes you falsely look like you have, more, of a downward V versus an upward V.
Yeah, it would complement her physique so much more to have a little bit larger.
Right.
So surely would. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good point, Sarah. Yeah, I hope you, because everything counts between
Yeah.
these two girls.
Yeah.
Like every little
Yep.
thing. It is so.
And from the
close.
back, it's
Very close from the back.
Very close from the
I would
back.
say Natalia actually she bridged the gap on this, but Sarah had a little bit more width and depth in her back than Natalia.
Look at how high her glute insertion is into her lower back.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I know.
actually.
Yep.
She has I think she has probably the most impressive glutes, but the overall package, I would say Natalia, she really had that flow. This is a very close battle, you guys.
Yeah.
It's
It
gonna
is.
be
It is. And
fierce.
people also talked about the tan that they told Sarah that she was not as.
She was a little light this year.
lighter.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can see the difference, like her muscles, as far as in her back and everything, just pop more.
Yep.
So what's unique is the two things that we talked about outside of physique were the one things that stood out in our minds. So the suit and the tans.
Yep.
Well,
Not
especially-
just about your physique.
Yep.
All the stuff has to come together when you're at the Olympia
Well, especially for Sarah didn't come in as conditioned
Right.
in 2022 Olympia, or
Right.
Natalia was more conditioned.
Right,
And
right.
so if you, the darker the tan is going to make
It
you
makes
look
it-
a little harder
It
on
does.
stage.
It does. Well, this has been so much fun. We have so much more to go. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to give you some more rivalries. Woo-woo. All right, we are back and we are here with my division, the figure division. Remember I told you that anybody can come out of nowhere and shake it up?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm out of the running here, but
Definitely.
That's right.
Never out of the running.
You're not out the running.
Yeah.
But as of
Olympia,
right
here
now,
she
I'm
comes.
not in the running, and that's you know what I'm a huge fan of the sport, no matter what. I personally have had so much fun following Sid Gillen's journey because I took second to her in her first win ever, and I have always felt such a connection with her and her
Really?
family.
That's exciting.
Her first 2 wins, I got second to her, and I know that's a weird claim to
That's
fame.
awesome. No, girl, I'll be claiming that one.
I know. So, but I've been able to see her journey, and she comes every time ready to win the show. Okay, the one nipping at her heels the most is Jessica Reyes Padilla. We know Jessica wants this title more than anything, but maybe not more than Sid. So let's go ahead and let's dive in. I want you ladies to give your take. What are they have no weaknesses, either one of them, but they expose things of each other, and that's how rivalries go, right? So Whitney, what do you see? What do you see between these two?
With Sid, just everything has always been so balanced with her.
Yeah.
And every year it's like, how can she get better? And
know.
yet she does.
She does.
But it's the attention to detail. And it's the small, like at this level, it's working on the fine detail, the small muscle groups. It's not building glutes, building quad. I mean, it's little minor details that she goes in, and that's how her body can make those minute changes that present to be big things on stage. You know, obviously with Sid, she's not like thin skin, grainy.
Yeah.
So pulling in that conditioning is something that, you know, I get to see because obviously she's training at the gym and we work out together and stuff like that. So I see it coming in. But that's something with all the consistency. She is a year-round diehard athlete and she can pull it in. You see it from the front side, but yet that's been where she has to find that balance of not coming in too lean in the backside, having the fullness. And last year's Olympia, I think, was by far the best, where she nailed all those details with being conditioned the way she needs to in the front, showing it in the backside, and still having that fullness.
I thought her suit complemented her skin tone the best. This suit, there was one year where she had red, and it kind of it didn't show her off as well. I didn't think. And maybe she probably thought that I analyze myself all the time, so she probably thought the same thing. And we probably think a lot alike, me and her. So she did change it up, and that the suit really popped. In person, it was just so stunning.
And these kind of look similar. Both of them together. What I think is unique is, first thing I noticed is both of them in their back pose, their left shoulder's elevated, their left arm. So to me, like, it can always throw things off, but it's odd that it's both of them doing the exact same thing.
You're right about that.
You know? So is it, maybe it was both of the pictures here were like in still transition, getting maybe settling in?
Well, Sid has scoliosis, so I know posing her back is always
about that.
It's difficult.
She does such a good job of posing it away. Lenda, what do you think about their backs?
I think definitely Jessica, she has more depth. You look at her rhomboid, her rhomboid, I see more detail. So maybe that explains it in what you're talking about with Sid. But I would say on the back, Jessica, she has more detail. Definitely.
This is a structural thing, so it's not really like something that you can train for, and this is why the winners, a lot of times it comes down to genetics and a lot more than hard work, right? But Jessica has longer insertions in her quads and her hamstrings, so hers sweep down really low. So it would be really hard for her to get this to pop out. Whereas Sid's are a little bit shorter, her hamstrings are shorter, her quads are shorter. So when she builds, she tends to have more of the shape. So I would say Sid has it from the bottom, and then Jessica probably has it from the top. And so, but then Sid just kind of, another thing, you can't see them moving, and when they move, that's that's all. That, I mean, Sid is so flawless. Jessica's a beautiful poser too. I would say this could be a very close battle this year. So let's all stay tuned. Let's move right along, ladies, to the fitness division. Okay, Whitney, you can totally chime in. This is why you're a professional. This is why you do what you do so well. Let's go ahead and, you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the battle between Whitney and Missy and Ariel, and then we're gonna flip-flop Ariel out, and we're gonna put Oksana in, because word has it that she's gonna be at the Olympia this year.
That's the plan.
We have the ladies at their best. Okay, this is Missy in her most recent win. All right, this is Whitney in her most recent win, and this is Ariel at her most recent Arnold win. Okay, so these are the three ladies at their absolute best, absolute peak. And when we look at their physiques, I would have to say Ariel to me looks like a total gymnast. Okay,
she does.
She's a gymnast, and as a former gymnast, I know my biggest struggle always was atrophying my obliques, because you need them to do moves, power moves, and your traps. You need all those muscles. Lenda, go ahead and break it down. What do you think about their fronts?
Well, Ariel, like, I agree with you as far as her structure, because she's short. Ariel's like, what, 5'?
I think right around 5 foot, 5'1" maybe.
Yeah, the waistline. I mean, she's in great shape, great condition. Her waistline's much wider. You know,
She's beautiful moving too.
Yeah, and here, without question, Whitney, you win the physique round. To me, it's more balance. It's when I look at Missy, I see Missy's shoulders, small waist. She's lean in the quads, but it's like, as far as I see the fullness in her shoulders. But I see more balance overall, like with Whitney. Shoulders,
Whitney has
nothing like really standing out. And also, I'm going to say this from a point of like being athletic. Like, when I look at a picture and I look at your boobs and I can see that, and I'm just, guys, let me go here with the implants. Like, especially because you guys are athletes. And it's just, that makes a big difference. for
Duly
me.
noted. Next time I squish my boobs in.
It makes a big difference here. And when I look at Whitney, I just see athlete.
Athlete, yeah.
You know, and I see athlete also in Ariel, and I see athlete, of course, in Missy. But it's that's what I see.
Something interesting that I found is Missy has the most impressive clavicle to hip shape. Absolutely. I mean, her V taper is out of control for any figure competitor or anyone, right? But when they turn to the back, you know, she doesn't have quite as much depth in her back. You don't see the muscles really popping. You see the width, though, right? Ariel and Whitney both have, you see they have all the bubbles. You see all their back muscles just popping. Ariel, she has, her obliques are a little bit out a little bit, but from the back, there's a shadow. So actually her waist looks really tiny from the back. So I think her back is, you know, super impressive. Let's jump right into Oksana. Let's put Oksana next to them. So Oksana is going to be battling it out. Now, Oksana, this is her last Olympia win, 2017. So this is her at her best. Again, Whitney at her best, Missy at her best. We want to make sure it's even Stevens here. Oksana, she is always coming and bringing in the heat, and she's going to come back with a vengeance for sure. I just want to say, you know, this is kind of part of the old school way of posing, but when I first started competing, we would have our legs together and straight, and almost, and you could tell she's a gymnast by the way that she tucks her hips. In gymnastics, we want a straight body, right? Yeah. Hips tucked under, glutes squeezed. We want it to be so perfect and, you know, right? But if she were to bend her knees just a tiny bit, turn them out, bend them, arch her lower back, she would create a little bit more of like what you see with Whitney and Missy.
No space between the thighs.
Yes. And if she would,
it makes her straight, just straight up and
take
down.
a break from being a gymnast for just a moment in her hips and just tilt her hips back a little bit and let her quads kind of flare, she would probably be battling it out a little bit harder.
Because it's like the Oscar statue.
Right?
Just straight right
She's
there.
She's a gymnast. She is posing like a total gymnast. This is what I see. But you guys really did such a good job with hitting those poses.
I want to correct my posing.
This is but this is what I'm saying. You're going to be motivated
But
after
it
this,
seems
right?
like everyone's shoulders on the... Everyone's right shoulder and all the pictures we've been looking at from the back side is all kind of sloped down.
I wonder if it has to do with the hair. Like putting the hair over the shoulder. I wonder if it has anything to do with the hair.
Well, I know that right side is my issue. So it's
it could have even been the angle of the photographer.
Yeah,
Who knows?
sure, yeah.
This is going to be so exciting. I mean, we don't see their routines up here. We're just looking at their physiques. The routine is obviously the biggest part of the scoring, and we know Whitney's going to bring it. We know Missy's been preparing a crazy awesome routine. And I hope that we get something awesome out of Oksana because she is like Cirque du Soleil stuff, and I just cannot wait.
It's the most exciting part, and everyone's different. So we all bring completely
so I guess
different
in this sense, it's really great because Whitney, like, you're going in, like, how do you feel? You feel as far as
I'm
like at peace, right? You've done this before.
Well, because I didn't
you're not
get to compete last year, I think it was like, whoa, I'm not done yet. I got to finish what I started. So I'm just glad I'm healthy this year. And and that's the thing.
Let's keep you wrapped in bubble wrap.
We're going to keep you wrapped in bubble wrap and not do
That's
anything.
when I probably would hurt myself trying to get out of the bubble wrap.
Right. Well, I hate to move on from fitness because we could talk about fitness all day. I wish we could watch everyone's routines, but let's move on to wellness.
Okay, wow.
Let's take a look, okay? We have
Franciele, Issa, and Cassandra.
Yes. So these are the three fiercest wellness competitors right now. The wellness division is fairly new, so there's only so many people that have gained titles. Again, just like any other division, anyone can come in and shake things up. But let's talk about Franciele, okay? Franciele, she's so beautiful from head to toe, and I think that the way that she hits her pose, again, just like with Maureen, I really like how she opens her chest and she creates that width. I would say that Cassandra is kind of holding back a little bit. She's opened up a little bit more. And then Issa, she has this like longer torso.
Yeah.
Which really draws your eyes to her lower body. right?
Yep.
What do you think? What do you think, Camile?
Yeah, so I think for like when you look at, especially when you look at the backside, like Francielle just has like so much muscle on her quads and hamstrings to give you that sweep, and her upper body still is not too dominant because if she had if it was symmetrical, she would look like a full-on bodybuilder. And Issa, so last Olympia, and when I was getting ready in the morning with my makeup artist, it was before Wellness went on stage, and I was getting my makeup done with these girls, and it's crazy. They put on so much muscle. Like, they train so hard. So Issa, even though Issa got second place, like, she made so many changes last year. I'm excited to see what she brings this year. And this Wellness is going to be interesting for sure. But Francielle has just been so far untouchable. She's just basically flawless in every way.
Like the way she poses when she, that so confidence beautiful. When she hits the stage, and from the backside, I still think she is hard to beat.
She's hard to beat.
She's hard to beat.
And if you look at Cassandra, I believe that is Cassandra.
Yes.
Her glutes are crazy. Like, they're amazing. But her quads, her legs almost look like they're too lean, like the hamstring and the quads. And the calves aren't as developed as Issa and Francielle's.
Right. You know, this is like the story of the three bears, right? You have like the mama bear, the papa bear, and the baby bear, right? Well, and you know, the reason I say that is because this all comes down to structural differences. You know, when you look at Francielle, she has this like perfect flow in her quads, her hamstrings in her quads. The insertions, they're just like perfect, right? Okay. Her insertions are a little shorter, so she pops out a little bit more in the middle, which I also think looks really pretty. It's almost like maybe, is it too much, or what are they going for, right? Now, Cassandra, hers are really low. So she has a lot of pop down here. And I don't know what she could do, because I don't think you can really train that way. I think it's the most impressive looking, right? But in terms of the most balanced,
probably more hamstring to make the fullness of the
potentially.
Because if you look, I mean, I have to like look away and look at the other the screen, but her legs compared to the other girls with that much muscle, she looks like almost like too small in the hamstrings for sure.
Isn't that interesting?
I think it's crazy that in bikini, it's usually always dominated by brunettes, right?
Right.
Then,
Oh yeah,
of course.
Blondes.
And now we've got blondes with the wellness. So.
That's why Camille was like, is that Cassandra? Because they all have such similar hair.
But normally with bikini, it was rare to have someone in the top bikini.
We thought it was like, you don't go blonde. If you're in bikini, it's like,
that's what I think. And now we got wellness and it's blondes.
We're going to continue this conversation because honestly, we could go on forever. Who do you guys have? Who are your favorites? Who is your pick? The 2023 Olympia is going to be more exciting than ever before. It's going to be in Orlando, Florida again this year, and we cannot wait. Hopefully you guys are there tuning in, joining us and all of our live takes and everything that we have to offer you. Until next time, subscribe, like, comment, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye.